Well, so I met Emily in graduate school. We were both working on our master's in library science at Emporia State University in Emporia, Kansas. And Emily, during that time, I always got the sense that if there was something she wanted, she would go for it. If there was a project she had to work on, on the other hand, would sit there thinking, this is never going to work. And she would be like, no, it's totally going to work. And then she would make it happen. One weekend, Emily said, we're going to go to the Omaha Public Zoo. You want to come and meet us down there? I live up in Minnesota. But it's like, you want to come up and meet us down there? Or come down and meet us down there. And I did. And that was the first time I met Thomas. So I don't know him quite as well. But I've been really impressed with how mature he is and how he has his shit together, so to speak. As a couple, they're very into Doctor Who, as you can tell by the theme of this wedding. They're also very passionate about animals, it seems like. Thomas, I remember he was in the process of working on an aquarium for their house. So they were very much looking at different types of fish and different conditions for the aquarium. And Emily was just as enthusiastic about that as Thomas was. I believe they met online. I don't know what website it was. You'll have to get that from someone else. But I know their engagement, they went to Disney World, and Thomas had this all planned out. Apparently he had someone to come and take pictures already. Someone was already there, and he proposed to her in front of, was it Cinderella's castle, or whichever castle it is at Disney World. He proposed to her right there. Emily, I love you so much. You are one of my best friends, and I would not have made it through library school without you. I wish you and Thomas, all the happiness in the world and all the joy and love that is to come in your future.
Emily is my best friend, and she's the most loyal person I know. She is the funniest person I know. And that's about it. We just have a really good time together.
Cool. Do you have any fun memories or anything you'd like to share, or stories you'd like to tell about Emily, or something?
I hope her mother never sees this. Emily was somebody when we were kids that people thought, she was a good kid and would never do anything really bad. But there was this one time that we had a friend named Nicole, and Nicole was not allowed to stay the night at my house because I was a bad influence. And so she told Nicole's mom, or Nicole told her mom she was going to stay at Emily's house. And Nicole's mom said, oh, well, I'll have to talk to Emily's mom. And so Emily called Nicole's mom and pretended to be her mom and had like a 10-minute conversation with her. And it worked out. She never got caught. So actually Emily was really the biggest badass of the two of us. So.
Nice. So knowing what you know about Emily, tell me what is going to make her a really good wife? Why is she going to be like wife of the century?
She can deal with Thomas's shit. No, she's patient, and I know I've already said she's loyal, and she's just fun to be around.
Cool. What do you know about this Thomas guy? What can you tell me about him?
I don't know a whole lot about him. Only met him a few times, but I know he makes Emily very happy, so he's okay with me. I know when they were first dating, not too long after that, she was like, oh, I think he might be the one, So, Emily, you're a badass bitch, and congratulations.
Oh, she's a wonderful person. She's very caring and thoughtful and funny. She's crazy. I'm sure that they have tons of fun together because she's just a fun person like that. Okay, congratulations, Emily. I love you, and I wish you and Thomas all the best and health and happiness and love.
We went to college together. We were roommates. We go on vacations together every year. Take a girls trip with Jessica, the other bridesmaid. She's my best friend. She has been since we were roommates in college for 2 years, and then she was in my first wedding.
Cool.
Which is, we don't want to talk about that, but I guess the first night we kind of met, it's a good story.
Yeah, tell me about that.
But we were not roommates yet. We both had terrible roommates, but we shared a bathroom. And I was in marching band and got back from band camp party and sat down next to her in the lounge and was like, "What's up? You want to get drunk?" And we were best friends from there on out, and then we got rid of our roommates and moved in together. I've known Thomas since they got together.
Oh, cool.
I was probably the first one that met Thomas.
So
besides Kate, maybe. Yeah.
Why is he a good match for her?
Because they have the same sense of humor, and he fits right in with our little nerd crew that we are, with the comic books and everything else. Yeah. I know that Emily thought he was going to propose at Christmas, and then he bought her a bicycle, and she was a little bit upset about that. But then it all worked out because he proposed a couple months later at Disney World. We did sucker him into getting dressed up with us for the Avengers. He was Agent Coulson, and me and Emily were Thor and Loki, so that was a really fun night as well. Well, I know they met online. I didn't meet him for a couple of months after they started dating, and we all went out to dinner together as my introduction on whether or not I approved. And, you know, he teased me, so that was the first thing, because you have to be my friend before you can be anybody else's friend. That's the rule. And so that first night, we got to know each other, and then, you know, we got to be friends on Facebook, and so me and Thomas have a fish connection. He's obsessed with his fish tank, and I like to hear about it, so he makes sure to let me know when he gets a new fish and new coral, and totally nerd out with him, so. Because they can put up with each other's crap. That's the big thing between the house, and no matter how much they turn around and snap at each other, 5 minutes later they're fine, and that's what makes a good combination with people. Hey girl, I love you, and I'll always be there for you, just like you've always been there for me, so don't ever forget.
So tell me a little bit about her. What was it like growing up with Emily?
In many ways, we were very typical sisters. We fought a lot, but we also had a lot of fun too. I'm very fortunate that we have grown close with one another, because I know that's not always the case. So and you know, and she and Thomas have been very good to me, and including me in activities and stuff. I never feel like, you know, like the odd girl out.
That's kind of cool.
So we have a good relationship. We've helped out each other in many ways. Well, first of all, he was very cute. He was very sweet. Also, he was very successful. I mean, you know, what 20-somethings like own their own house and get to work from home and drive a BMW and stuff. I mean, that's pretty impressive. We knew he was the one though when they had been dating for about 6 months or so, and my sister has a beagle named Buster, and Buster is an old dog, and we started talking about moving in together, and she's like, well, I don't think we should move in together. You know, people should move in together unless they're engaged. But he really wanted her to move in with him. So he got his parents over, and he had carpeting in his house in the lower level, and, you know, sometimes dogs have accidents. So he and his parents ripped out all the carpeting, replaced it with hardwood floor because it would be easier to clean. So that's when, you know, we all knew that, oh my gosh, he's crazy about her. And they moved in, and the engagement came shortly after. Emily, I wish you guys the best of luck. You guys are so cool, and, you know, I'm like sensible, not like dorky sensible, but, you know, good sensible. So I'm sure you guys will have a fantastic marriage. So I'm looking forward to the first niece or nephew too.
So like when I heard the wedding was going to be Doctor Who and I had to pick the doctor, I didn't realize that mine had a sweater vest, and it's a little warm outside, so not the best choice of the day, but it'll all be all right. Thomas, you've always been a really good friend of mine. We've known each other for quite a long time. Enjoy your honeymoon. I know you guys are going to have a lot of fun in Hawaii. You got yourself a good woman, and treat her right.
I met Emily the first time at I believe we had a Halloween party over at Thomas's house. So, and that's the first time I met Emily, and then I think we also met her sister as well. And then she's just this really nice girl that I thought was exactly what Thomas needed. First time I found out it was going to be Doctor Who wedding, I think I had just moving into my new apartment, and Tom was telling me that he was getting married, so we knew it was going to happen. He usually came to me and go, let's go to Vegas for the bachelor party. And then that's when he told us that he was doing a Doctor Who themed wedding, and at that point in time, the other people that I had over for our kind of housewarming party were all very excited about it. They just hadn't been our themed wedding. Well, Thomas told us that the groomsmen had just as doctors, and so at that point in time, I just Googled Doctor Who doctors, and it gave me a list of them. The one I initially picked was going to be the one that I think is number 12, the one that JB's being, and then he told me that was already taken, so I took the next one I thought that I could do, and then that was the 9th Doctor. Good match for each other. Well, she seems to be patient with him, and I just hope that he's patient with her.
Oh, I think they complement each other. Thomas is a little more professional, to the T kind of thing. And Emily is the same thing, but she's a little more free spirit, a little more easy going kind of thing. So they kind of complement each other really well. First time I really got to see them together was just going over to Tom and Kathy's place when they were all over there eating, barbecuing, eating lunch, or hanging out, watching them build the TARDIS, and just parents' family get-togethers and stuff. Probably just a few months after they kind of started talking about getting married and planning everything out. I didn't even know what Doctor Who was. I heard Doctor Who and I kept thinking Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I didn't know what the hell Doctor Who was. I believe I am the 5th Doctor. I was actually wasn't gonna be. I was gonna be an usher or something like that. But they didn't think Matthew, his brother, who was in the Navy, was gonna be back in time. So they asked me if I would step in and take his spot, and I said, "Oh, sure, why not?" I was hoping they were going to have to do something. They hadn't asked me to do anything yet, so I was hoping I wasn't going to butt in and say anything. But they asked me, I was going to do something for them, and they brought me over for dinner, and they asked me, "Hey, do you want to be one of the groomsmen?" I said, "Sure, why not?" And I said, "Well, what I need to look like, dress how, what do you want me to look?" And he said, "We got to choose from like 4, 5 remaining doctors," and I figured I'd pick the goofiest looking one I could think of out of everybody else is pretty proper looking, clean cut. I figured I'd be there was one I wanted to choose with the scarf, but I think it would take too long to find everything, so this would seem to be the easiest one to get. So I picked I think I'm the 5th Doctor. So that's how I got into the wedding groom party and everything.
Awesome.
Well, I think the biggest thing to do, people, you're going to have your arguments, you're going to have your disagreements and things like that, which, if you just bottle everything up inside and let it eat at you, you'll eventually just build up and explode and get all mad about something. And the biggest thing to do is just talk things out, and everything gets along just fine. Me and Jennifer, now we get little tussle or little hissy fits with one another, but nothing major. I mean, Jennifer's more, she's I think a little bit like Thomas, where she gets stressed or things eat at her a little bit, and I'm a little more free spirit to take one day at a time. So I think just be happy, don't ever go to bed mad kind of thing, and just try to be each other's best friends. Just don't take things too serious. Just take one day at a time, and just make sure to smile at least once a day or once every little while, tell them that you love each other. And that's what I try to do. Well, since I haven't had any kids myself yet, I want to be an uncle one of these days, so I better get to cracking out some of them kids one of these days. But no, I wish you guys all the best. I think you guys go along great with one another, so I don't see why not. That the future should be pretty good for you guys, whether you guys stay where you're at or move someplace else. Wherever you guys go, you should all be happy.
It was kind of a gradual thing. He'd been trying different dating things, and he met her, and he was supposed to go out with another girl, and he never went out with the other girl, and they just kind of stayed together after that. I mean, they just kind of, and slowly as things progressed, he was at his sister's wedding last year, and right before his sister's wedding, he had proposed to Emily at Disney World.
So he proposed at Disney World?
At Disney World. Even had the photographers there set up to take the pictures, and she didn't know.
That's awesome. So she had no idea that was going to happen.
Not any idea at all.
That's cool.
She was actually going, what are you doing, when he started to kneel down in front of the Walt Disney statue.
That's awesome.
He just, I don't know. I mean, they just meld together. They don't have any. Can't put my finger on it. I would say they just work well together. I mean, they're just two peas in a pod. Do a good job of doing it.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm dressed as the 12th Doctor, and I even have my sonic screwdriver of the Doctor. So
That's awesome.
we all have sonic screwdrivers. Be happy. That's what I told my little daughter, and so I'll tell him, just be happy. Just enjoy life. And I think they already are. I think they're already headed that direction. So.
He's very caring, very sweet. Thomas doesn't like to have people argue. He tries to direct the arguments onto him to diffuse it. He's always been a sweet little kid and very loving, very hard worker. And then he started building the TARDIS out there with him and his dad. That was a chore, but they got it done, and they had a fun time doing it. And he met Emily, I think on eHarmony. I think they met on eHarmony, and I don't even remember my first reaction when I met her. I just knew one day that he was so happy, his attitude totally changed. He was at peace with himself and contented. And so it went from there. He was talking about moving down to Florida, and I said, to change a job. I said, well, if you do that, this is when he started dating Emily. I said, you can do that, but if you're going to get serious with Emily, you need to ask her opinion for it. And that's when I knew she was the one for him. I don't know what it is, but they're really good. They care about each other. You can obviously see that, or at least I can, and stuff. Thomas is very, like I said, he's very emotional and very caring, and it just shows with Emily. And Emily does it in returns too. Well, it's Thomas's wedding day. I'm so proud of you. I love you. And I can't see what the rest of your life will hold for you and Emily. I love you both.
When Emily was a toddler, she had a spirit of fun. She was just fun loving. She just had a good time. And as she developed as a child, as she got older, she got to be a teenager. She, even when she was little, she had a kind of an ethical compass, a true north that guided her. And every once in a while I got lectures from her, and I'm thinking, the voice of God is coming through my child and telling me what I need to do and telling me what the right thing is to do in a certain circumstance. She's kept that, and it's one of the things that I treasure and I prize about her the most. She's also fun and cute and smart and creative, and so I think that Thomas has a wonderful person to be his wife. I think Thomas is a great guy too, because he really loves her and he cares about how she feels. We were here at the Hawthorne for the big meeting, to work out all the details about the wedding, and it was kind of stressful, and Emily was trying to, think of all the questions and anticipate what she wanted and think about the options that she had. And that whole time, Thomas sat next to her. He didn't say much. He had his hand on her shoulder, patting her and saying, it's okay,
And so he's going to be her rock, and she's going to be his role. My darling girl, I love you so much. I'm so happy for you. I think you've made a wonderful match. And I'm excited for you to be a married woman and to have someone who will be with you and support you and always for the rest of your life. It makes me feel so good. I think you've made a great choice.
Emily's a sweet girl, which gets overused, but I've known her since she was in high school and then college, and she's bright and persistent, and she's found an occupation she likes now. She tried one, it didn't work, and I can appreciate that. My third one took. So, and I enjoyed it, and like I said, she was persistent. She tried one thing, went back to school, got a degree in library science, and now is going to be the director of a small library in Paola, which is really good. She's bright, she's loving, she's sentimental, loves old things, and it's a great joy to see her and Thomas get together and begin to share their life together. You can't ever really tell from the outside what makes a couple work, but I think they're both smart people. They have some common interests, like this Doctor Who theme of the wedding. They like to have fun. They found each other at a time in their lives, and they were both looking for somebody to live out their life with, and it clicked. They both, a couple days ago, they told me that they were both talking to another number of people on the internet, and they stopped when they started talking to each other, and then started dating, and they kind of complete each other. They each have a side that helps the other one. Emily, I hope you and Thomas have years and years together and great joy. It's an exciting journey that you're traveling, and it's got ups and downs, and it's worth every ounce of energy you put into it.
Why did you pick her out from the crowd? Why did she stick? Just give me a little bit of that.
I thought she was good looking. She was definitely my type, so I had to send her a message, and I was fortunate enough she replied. So, and I wanted to impress her on our first date, so I took her to the King Tut exhibit, because that was in town at Union Station, and I took her to an Italian restaurant at Crown Center, because I thought it would be fancy and a nice little treat. And then the best part of the date was I had bought a BMW back in September before we started dating, and it's a convertible, and I really wanted to show it off. And so we parked in the same parking garage, but she couldn't remember where she parked it, so I offered to drive her around to find her car. And we get in, I put the top down, I'm like, yeah, this is great. She doesn't even notice the car. I mean, she's like, we're in a car. She didn't even care that it was a convertible. So I still have the car, but it's fun. It's certain things that she does get and things she doesn't get. Like when I proposed, I was at Magic Kingdom, and we were getting our pictures taken by the photographers. I had arranged somebody to film the event, a complete stranger I'd never met before in person. I met them online, and we're in line, and I get the photographer's attention. I say, I'm about to propose. I show them the ring box, and they get the cue, and they switch out photographers so they can be more mobile. And I go to propose, and I'm starting to lean down, and she's leaning over with me, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And that's just the kind of things that happen with her, and I love it. It's great. I never can tell how she's gonna react to that kind of stuff. So I knew we had something special early on. We got along so great, and we took a trip out to Kentucky and went to a concert together, and her and I just, I mean, we just had a blast. And it was a fun weekend trip that we took together. We had a little sightseeing, and I was just excited that she and I got along so well for that trip. And then a few months later, I went on a backpacking trip for about 10 days. And it gave me time to reflect on the things that have happened. And as soon as I got back from that trip, that was the first time I told her I loved her. So.
Cool.
Emily, I love you. You're absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm sure the video will show me crying. But, you know, I'm really excited for what the future holds for us. So, let's have fun.
You know, I think his picture might have sat in my inbox just a little bit, because, you know, I was talking to lots of guys. But anyway, I remember looking at his picture and seeing that he had swum with the dolphins. And so there's this great picture of him with this big smile, and a dolphin with a big smile, and I think he was giving it a smooch. So I thought, well, that seems like a fun guy, you know? So yeah. Well, I kind of snuck up from behind him. He was sitting outside a restaurant in Crown Center where we met up. And I just remember thinking how cute he was. And that we, you know, had a nice lunch. And then we went and saw the King Tut exhibit. And he was kind of quiet. But, you know, I didn't know at the time, but I guess he was a little nervous. But I was just, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I think it was kind of obvious early on that, you know, we definitely had the potential to be very serious, but I, you know, was a little bit cautious about it. And, you know, we were talking about moving in, and I think I just kind of had a moment, and I'm not sure when it came, where I was just like, you know, there's a risk, but I'm gonna go all in with this guy. So I was just like, oh well, screw it, you know. Well, he always just seemed and has proven to be a very loyal person. And, you know, a good friend who stands by his friends and stands by his family. And so I think we both kind of sensed in each other, you know, a loyalty to friends and family. And, you know, I don't get bored of people easily, and he doesn't get bored of people easily. So, you know, we make a good pair because we won't get bored of each other.
How did he propose?
Well, we went on a trip to Disney World. And I had no idea. He threw me off the scent completely because I knew he, you know, was going to get around to it most likely. And he had said, well, when are you expecting something? And I said, I don't know, 6 months or so, because we had moved in. And so I thought he was going to do it on the cruise that we took later on in the year. So we were we were planning this trip to Disney World, and he was so like stressed out about it and wanted to plan out not so stressed out, but he wanted to plan every little detail. And I was like, geez, is every trip we take together going to be like this? And so we got up at like dawn to go take the boat from our campground to Disney World, and we were walking up towards the castle and a little partnership statue, and we took our picture. And as we were getting our picture taken, he starts getting down on the ground, and I don't know what he's doing. So I'm like trying to tug him back up. Like, what are you doing? We're taking a picture. And then I realized he was proposing, and I just kind of went. So there's this picture of me where I'm going, and he's down on one knee. And so it was pretty good. He got me. So he was really nervous about pulling it off, but he did. So it was good. It makes a good story, I think.
So what's your future going to look like with Thomas?
Well, I think, you know, he said on his profile, he said he was looking for a partner in crime, and I was looking for that too. So I think we'll just be really close partners and doing stuff together and taking trips and hopefully, you know, raising a child, maybe two. And I think he's going to be a great dad. And, you know, but whatever happens, we'll have each other. So that's what's important. Thomas, I love you very much, and I just am so lucky to have you, and I hope that I can make you happy for the rest of our lives.